Welcome to Global Marketing, Unit number 9, Chapter number 17 Leadership, Organization, and Corporate Social Responsibility. This unit focuses on integrating each element of the marketing mix into a plan that addresses opportunities and threats, leadership that integrates global efficiency, local responsiveness, and leverage into global vision and strategy, and of course, corporate social responsibility. Leadership. Global marketing demands exceptional leadership. The hallmark of a global company is the capacity to formulate and implement global strategies that leverage worldwide learning, respond fully to local needs and wants, and draw on to the talent and energy of every member of the organization. This heroic task requires global vision and sensitivity to the local needs. Overall, the leader's challenge is to direct the effort and creativity of everyone in the company towards a global effort that best utilizes organizational resources to exploit global opportunities. According to the former CEO of HP, leadership is not about hierarchy or title or status. It is about having influence and mastering change. Leadership is not about bragging rights or battles or even accumulation of wealth. It's about connecting and engaging at multiple levels. Leader can no longer view strategy and execution as abstract concepts, but they must realize that both elements are ultimately about people. The leader's task is to articulate intended geographical scope of activities, beliefs, values, and policies. It is one thing to spell out the vision and another thing entirely to secure commitment to it throughout the organization. As noted in the first chapter, global marketing entails engaging in significant business activities outside the home country. This means exposure to different languages and cultures. In addition, global marketing involves skillful application of specific concepts, considerations, and strategies. Such endeavors may represent substantial change, especially in companies in the developed world with a long tradition of domestic focus. When the Go Global initiative is greeted with skepticism, the CEO must be a change agent who prepares and motivates employees. Top management nationality. The ability to speak foreign languages is one difference between managers born and raised in the United States and even to some extent in Pakistan and those born and raised elsewhere. For example, the US Department of Education recently reported that 200 million Chinese children are studying English. By contrast, only 24,000 American children are studying Chinese. Companies are realizing that they have a portfolio of human resources worldwide, that their brightest technical persons might come from Germany or their best financial managers from England. They are starting to tap into the worldwide human resources, and as they do, it will be not surprising to see non Americans rise to the top. Leadership and core competency. Few companies are likely to build worldwide leadership in more than 5 or 6 fundamental competencies. In the long run, an organization will derive its global competitiveness from its ability to bring high quality, low cost products to market faster than its competitors. To do this, an organization must be viewed as a portfolio of competencies rather than a portfolio of businesses. Executives were judged on their ability to identify, nurture, and exploit the organization's core competencies in the 1990s as opposed to the focus on reorganization in the 1980s. Core competencies must provide potential access to a wide variety of markets, make a significant contribution to the perceived customer benefits, and be difficult to imitate. Organization. A key issue in global organization is how to achieve balance between autonomy and integration. Subsidiaries need autonomy to adapt to their local environment, but the business as a whole needs integration to implement global strategy. No single correct organizational structure exists for global marketing. Even within a particular industry, worldwide companies have developed different strategic and organizational responses to change in their environment. Still, it is possible to make some generalizations. Leading edge global competitors share one key organizational design characteristic. Their corporate structure is flat and simple rather than tall and complex. The message is clear: the world is complicated enough, so there is no need to add to the confusion with a complex internal structuring. Simple structures increase the speed and clarity of communication and allow the concentration of organizational energy and valuable resources on learning rather than on controlling, monitoring, and reporting. The goal is to find a structure that enables the companies to respond to relevant market environment differences, to ensure the diffusion of corporate knowledge and experience throughout the system. Organizations must balance the value of centralized knowledge and control and the need for individualized response to local markets. Organization. Recently, several authors have described new organization designs that represent responses to today's competitive environment. These designs acknowledge the need to find more responsive and flexible structures to flatten the organization and to employ teams. There is the recognition of the need to develop networks, to develop stronger relationships among participants, and to exploit technology. These designs also reflect an evolution in approach of organizational effectiveness. At the turn of the century, Frederick Taylor claimed that all managers had to see the world in the same way. Then came the contingency theorists who said that effective organizations design themselves to match their conditions. These two basic theories are reflected in today's popular management writings. As Henry Mintzberg has observed, to Michael Porter, effectiveness resides in strategy, while to Tom Peters, it is the operation that counts, executing any strategy with excellence. In global marketing, there is not a single best structure. Leading edge global competitors share one key organizational design characteristic, and that is the structure is flat and simple. In the 21st century, corporations will have to find new, more creative ways to organize. They must be flexible, efficient, and responsive to meet the demands of globalizing markets. Patterns of international organizational development. Because the constellation of pressure that shape organization is never exactly the same, no two organizations pass through organizational stages in exactly the same way, nor do they arrive at precisely the same organizational pattern. Nevertheless, some general patterns hold. Organizations vary in size, potential of targeted global markets, and local management competencies. Conflicting pressures may arise for development and technical knowledge, for functional area expertise, and for area and country knowledge. International division structure. As a company's international business grows, the complexity of coordinating and directing this activity extends beyond the scope of a single person. Pressure is created to assemble a staff that will take responsibility for coordination and direction of the growing international activities of the organization. Eventually, this pressure leads to the creation of an international division. The executive in charge of the international division typically has a direct reporting relationship to corporate staff and thus ranks at the same level as the executives in charge of finance, marketing, operations, and other functional areas. Please carefully look at this structure of international division and study it and observe it. International division structure. Walmart, Bestway, Walt Disney Company are some examples of companies whose structures include international divisions. When Hershey's announced the creation of its international division in 2005, J.P. Bilbrey The division's senior vice president noted that Hershey will no longer utilize the extension strategy of exporting its chocolate product from United States. Instead, the company will tailor products to local markets and also manufacture locally. As the vice president explained, we are changing our business model in Asia. The product was not locally relevant and it also got there at an unattractive cost. Four factors contribute to establishment of international division. First, top management's commitment to global operation has increased enough to justify an organizational unit headed by a senior manager. Second, the complexity of international operations require a single organizational unit whose management has sufficient authority to make its own determination on important issues such as which market entry strategy to employ. Third, an international division is frequently formed when the firm has recognized the need for internal specialists to deal with the special demands of global operations. A fourth contributing factor is management's recognition of the importance of strategically scanning the global horizon for opportunities and aligning them with companies' resources rather than simply responding on an ad hoc basis to situations as they rise. Geographical and product division structures. As companies become more global, management frequently faces the dilemma of whether to organize by geography or by product line. The geographical structure involves assignment of operational responsibility for geographic areas of the world to line managers. The corporate headquarters retains responsibility for worldwide planning and control, and each area of the world, including the home or the base market, is organizationally equal. When an organization assigns regional or worldwide product responsibility to its product divisions, manufacturing standardization can result in significant economies of scale. This structure is most common in companies with closely related product lines that are sold in similar end use markets around the world. For example, the major international oil companies utilize the geographical structure which is illustrated in this figure. McDonald's organizational design integrates the international division and geographical structures, as McDonald's US is organized into 5 geographical operation divisions and McDonald's International has 4 divisions. The matrix design. Product or business, function, area, and customer know how are simultaneously focused on organizations' worldwide marketing objectives. Management must achieve organizational balance that brings together different perspectives and skills to accomplish organizational objectives. Professor John Hunt of London Business School suggests 4 considerations regarding the matrix organizational design. First, the matrix is appropriate when the market is demanding and dynamic. Second, employees must accept higher levels of ambiguity and understand that policy manuals cannot cover every eventuality. Third, in country markets where the command and control model persists, it is best to overlay matrices on only small portions of the workforce. Finally, management must be able to clearly state what each axis of matrix can and cannot do. However, this must be accomplished without creating a bureaucracy. The matrix design. Geographic knowledge. Understanding of economic, social, political, and governmental market and competitive dimensions. Product knowledge and know how. Product managers that have a worldwide responsibility can achieve new levels of product competency. Having established that matrix is appropriate, management can expect the matrix to integrate 4 basic competencies on a worldwide basis. Functional competence. Corporate staff with worldwide responsibility contributes towards the development of functional competence on a global basis. Knowledge of customer or industry and its needs. Staff with responsibility for serving industries on a global basis assist organizations in their effort to penetrate specific customer markets. This organizational chart starts from the bottom section that represents a single country responsibility level, moves to representing the area or international level, and finally moves to representing global responsibility from the product divisions to the corporate staff to the chief executive at the top of the structure. Lean production, organizing the Japanese way. The mass producers, most notably Ford Motor Company, gained their substantial advantage by changing their value chain so that each worker was able to do far more work each day than the craft producer. The innovation that made this possible was moving assembly line, which required the originators to conceptualize the production process in a totally new way. The assembly line also required a new approach to organizing people, production machinery, and supplies. By rearranging their value chain activities, the mass producers were able to achieve reduction in effort ranging from 62% to 88% over the craft producers. These productivity improvements provided an obvious competitive edge. The Toyota Production System (TPS), as the Japanese company's manufacturing method are known, achieves efficiencies of about 50% over typical mass production systems. Even with the reduced assembly time, the lean producers' vehicles have significantly fewer defects than the mass produced vehicles. The lean producer is also using about 40% less factory space and maintaining only a fraction of the inventory stored by the mass producer. The lean production methods, the Japanese way, compares craft production, mass production, and lean production. Let's compare craft production, mass production, and lean production. Craft production meant one worker created one product. Mass production gained advantages because one worker could do far more specialized work due to the moving assembly line. Lean production uses less factory space, smaller inventories, and quality control methods which increase efficiency by 50% over typical mass production. Mass production versus Toyota production system. Traditional assumptions and Ono and Singo's insight. Maximize machine utilization. The traditional assumptions are maximize machine utilization, fixed setup times, build inventory to reduce unit cost, inspect at end of the process, maximize backward integration. Whereas Uno's and Shingo's insights are labor is more costly than machines. We can reduce setup times. We can minimize inventory to cut costs and wastes. We must inspect to prevent defective production, and we can outsource from supplier specialists. Ethics and stewardship. Today's CEO must be a proactive steward of the firm. He or she must respond to primary stakeholders, which are managers, employees, customers, stockholders, suppliers, and secondary stakeholders, general business community, local community groups, and non governmental organizations, the NGOs. Stakeholder analysis is the process of formulating a win win outcome for all stakeholders. Corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility, or CSR, is an obligation to pursue goals and practices that are in the best interest of the society. Many companies create a formal code of ethics that can summarize core ideologies, corporate values, and expectations. According to the CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, perhaps we have the opportunity to be a different type of global company, a global brand that can build a different model, a company that is a global business that makes a profit but at the same time demonstrates a social conscience and gives back to the local market. Issues in corporate social responsibility. How do CEOs decide what is the best interest of society? Bangladeshi children lost garment industry jobs after the US threatened trade sanctions, and the children were worse off. Nike has been criticized for alleged poor working conditions in its factories. Walmart has been under fire for a number of reasons, including labor practices, resulting in social repercussions in communities it serves. Amazon has also been accused of various malpractices. CEO salaries worldwide are rising faster than average salaries and much faster than inflation. Sources of conflict in CSR. In an article in Business Ethics Quarterly, a three dimensional framework for analyzing the social behavior of international, multinational, global, and transnational firms is proposed. The second dimension of the model includes CSR's three content domains: human rights, labor, and the environment. These are universal concerns for global companies established by the United Nations Global Compact. The third dimension in this framework consists of three perspectives. The ideological dimensions of CSR pertains to the things a firm's management believes it should be doing. The societal dimension consists of the expectations held by the firm's external stakeholders. The operational dimension includes the actions and activities actually taken by the firm. As illustrated in this figure, the intersection between the dimensions can result in several conflict scenarios. Conflict may arise if there is tension between those things a company's leadership believes it should be doing and the expectations of the stakeholders. Conflict can also arise when there is tension between those things a company's leadership believes it should be doing and the things it is actually doing. The third scenario is conflict that arises from tension between society's expectation and actual corporate practices and activities. This marks the end of this chapter. Thank you.